John Doyle from Optics EQ, and this is a continuation of our OptixPLOT video series. Today's topic, pace dynamics. What is pace dynamics? Essentially just the way they run the race. In a horse race, you have all different types of styles, horses that like go to lead, horses like to come from behind, and it's just that, you know, mix and match of different run styles in a race that determine what the dynamic is going to be. So if a race is loaded with speed horses, then the dynamic may favor horses coming from off the pace. And conversely, if there's not a lot of speed in the race, they'll favor horses on the lead. So it's a simplistic, but it really does make sense. And you see it in sports too, with contrasting styles. I remember Muhammad Ali in his prime had difficulty fighting a guy by the name of Ken Norton, who was half the boxer he was. But Ken's awkward style gave Ali fits, and that's kind of the way it goes. It's who may be best on paper and class and speed sometimes are vulnerable to certain pace dynamics. So it's an important thing to watch. And we're going to use OptixPLOT at least to introduce you to it, get you familiar with it, and then in subsequent videos we'll probably get into a lot more detail because it is a complex subject, but we want to at least get working with it. So how do you assess pace dynamics in a race? Well, use the header information on OptixPLOT. That's what you do. And you can see the first item there is plot fit. And you can see there's going to be different color codes for them to associate what the fit is. And this just tells us how reliable our plot is. It goes from all the way from red to green, green being the best, dark green being the best. This one in particular, looking at the example, it's an average plot fit. So again, it just gives you a sense, not to say that you can't use all these, but it just gives you a sense of confidence level on the plot itself. The next component, and this is one of our what I call pressure gauges. This determines what the pace is going to be up front, and it's contention. So it's going to be how the horses are bunched up front early. And we have three different ones that we label. One is expected very contentious pace, which is a flame, the sun, which is an average pace, and the snowflake, which is a soft pace. And you can see in this example, again, it's an average pace contention. I want to just show you, I have a visual here to just kind of, so you can see the different types of pace contentions. The image up on top is a soft pace contention. You could see the 5 horses clearly in the lead with the 9 tracking, and really no one's really flanked on the 9. So that's a soft contention. The middle image shows you more of an average contention where the horses are more lapped onto each other. They're competing, but quite not as heavily as in the third image, which is our high contention, where they're on top of each other and bunched up. The reason why we want to know about this contention, because contention causes stress in a race. And so stress affects performance of athletes and in horse races and horses too. So you want to take a look at this. And again, this is a visual, so you get a sense when you're looking at, sometimes when you're looking at these items, numbers, you want a visual, and that's what we try to do at Optics, more and more visual. Okay, so the last component, and this is the other part of the pressure gauge, is speed rating. So how fast do we potentially think the race is going to be? So it's going to be slow, medium, or high. In this example, it's medium. The number 29 falls in that, parameters. But we're going to show you some extreme examples both ways to show you that how that pressure gauge can affect the outcome of a race. So let's go to our first extreme pace scenario. And this is where we have high contention, high speed rating. You can see that speed rating all the way up to 78. Contention is a flame. It is a plot fit red, but again, this is a chaos race, so that might work into your favor. But again, it's a less reliable plot, but again, to let odds dictate what you want to do. In this case, we want to favor horses that are in quadrants 2 and 4 when we see this kind of scenario. They don't happen that often, so it's quadrants 2 and 4. We want to favor squares. So it's very important to look at this and assess. When you do get a scenario like this, don't be afraid to take chances at longer price odds, even if they don't fit maybe the speed and class criteria of the race, because it is going to create a situation where this race, is chaos. So you just want to make sure that you take every opportunity to take your shots in these types of races. It's a little bit more riskier, but again, the payoff could be really big. So you make sure when you're looking at this among the 2, 8, and 9, you may want to make sure you're including the horse with the highest price in there, because anything can happen in these types of dynamics. The second one is kind of the opposite dynamics, a mirror of the other one, where you have low contention, low speed rating. And these races typically favor quadrant 1, We've talked in the past about squares being better than circles because of finishing ability, but the 4 and the 9 are both circles, but they do have the advantage here. So again, look for your price, pick your prices in these things, look for the opportunities. In this case, this is where you would upgrade circles with this pace dynamic versus in normal cases, okay? So that's what to look for. So those are the extreme pace scenarios, but it gives you a sense of how to use OptixPLOT first to assess what the pace dynamic is, and then to see if there's an opportunity for an extreme pace dynamic in a race. So we will be doing more of these videos with pace dynamic in the future, hopefully, and getting a little bit more detail, but hopefully this will get you started. And follow us at OptixEQ.com, on Twitter at OptixEQ, and also you can get to these videos via our YouTube channel at OptixEQ. Thanks.